Good evening, everyone. How are you today? Dear students, sixth class, today our lesson will be very interesting. It will be about the first passage, which is talking about Zaytarak. In this lesson, we are going to talk just English, so please don't get frustrated if you don't get everything, if you don't understand all the lesson. And to try to bring a piece of paper or notebook, whatever, to just write some notes. This story actually is about a guy, young man who is Zaytarak. He's 20 years old. This guy is from Iraq. He decided to spend a holiday in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. While he was there was an accident or an incident happened to him. So while he was floating peacefully 150 meters from the shore, he felt something pushed him because he was lying on a plastic mattress. So he thought at the beginning it was a piece of wood, but actually there wasn't a piece of wood at all. It was a shark. When the shark pushed him harder, he fell into the water. So of course he tried to get rid of the shark by, we can say, swimming away, but unfortunately the shark bit his arm. After that, he started losing a lot of blood. So that's why he screamed as loud as he could, because he thought that he was about to die. You know, after that, some dolphins, at least 6, actually we said they are at least 6 because he said that because he wasn't quite sure about the number of the dolphins, because he was in very difficult situation. He was bleeding a lot of blood, so he wasn't quite sure about the number of the dolphins. That's why he said at least 6. The dolphins actually protected him and saved him by making a circle, okay, and they actually swam up and frightened the shark away. So, and fortunately, Zaytarak, when he screamed, there was a coast guard who is called Jamil Alawi, who heard Zayd's scream and immediately rescued him by boat. Also, he gave him first aid on the boat because it was an emergency case. So while Jamil Alawi was giving Zaytarak first aid on the boat, there was a partner, there was another person called Ahmed Al-Musri. He also coast guard working with Jamil Alawi. He called the emergency services. After that, about 15 minutes later, an ambulance arrived. Then Zaytarak was taken to the hospital to get medical attention. So he said something so funny or interesting while he was in the hospital, on the bed of the hospital. He said that the shark wanted to have me for breakfast, but God saved me. So this is very short and interesting story about Zaytarak. Okay, now I'm going to read, I'm going to show you on the screen, I'm going to read the passage again. We're going to divide this passage to many passages so it can be understood easily. So please bring with you your book and try to listen and read with me. So I'm going to start. The title is He was floating peacefully. He was floating when he feels something push him. I'm going to try to read, okay, without the translation. You can see the translation in Arabic for some difficult words. So it was a calm morning in the beautiful seaside town of Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. 20-year-old Zaytarak, a tourist from Iraq, was floating peacefully 150 meters from the shore when he feels something push him. So the first question is, who was Zaytarak? We know that Zaytarak was a tourist from Iraq. The second question, where did Zayd go when he was 20? Zayd went on holiday to Sharm el-Sheikh, in Egypt. What did Zayd feel while he was floating? Zayd feels something push him. So the question number 4, what was Zayd Tariq doing when he feels something push him? Actually, he was floating peacefully, as I mentioned, 150 meters from the shore when he feels something push him. Now we're going to the next passage. I didn't know what it was. He told reporters, I thought perhaps my earbud had hit a piece of food. Then it pushed it even harder and I fell into the water. That's when I saw it was a shark. Question number 5. They thought that his earbud had hit a piece of food. That's true. As I mentioned, there wasn't a piece of food at all. It just from Zaid's imagination. He thought that, but actually it wasn't a piece of food. The thing we can say that pushed Zaytarak was a shark. Okay, so number 6 is a really very important point. We have to know about it. A piece of food had hit Zaid's earbud. Of course, the answer is going to be false. 7. What happened when Zaid was pushed harder? Of course, he fell into the water. Who or what pushed Zaid? Shark pushed Zaid. Now let's go to another, you can say, another part of the passage. He was trying to swim away when the shark bit his arm. Tariq, who was losing a lot of blood and thought he was about to die, screamed as loud as he could. 9. What did the shark do to Zaid? Of course, the shark bit Zaid's arm. What was Zaytarak doing when the shark bit his arm? He was trying to swim away when the shark bit his arm. When he was attacked by the shark, we have to complete actually. He was lying on a plastic mattress. When Zaytarak thought he was about to die, of course, he screamed as loud as he could. I'm going to, complete. I was praying to God to save me. He said when some dolphins swam up and frightened the shark away. There were at least 6 of them and they made a circle around me. The shark couldn't get near me. 13. What frightened the shark away? Some dolphins frightened the shark away. How many dolphins? We said they were at least 6. So what did the dolphins make around Zaid? Of course, they made a circle around him. Why couldn't the shark get near Zaytarak? Because, as I mentioned, some dolphins frightened the shark away and they made a circle around him as well. Coast Guard Jamil Alawi heard Tariq's screams and rescued him by boat while he was giving Zaytarak first aid on the boat. His partner, Ahmed Al-Masri, called the emergency services. 17. Who heard Tariq's screams? Coast Guard Jamil Alawi heard Tariq's screams and rescued him by boat. Who rescued Zaid by boat? Of course, Coast Guard Jamil Alawi rescued Zaytarak by boat. Where did Jamil give Tariq or Zaytarak first aid? On the boat, as I mentioned before a little, because it was an emergency case. What did Ahmed Al-Masri, Jamil's partner do? Of course, one thing that he called the emergency services. Try to remember with me, if Jamil Al-Alawi had taken or had treated Zaytarak on the shore, he could have died. He could have died. Let's complete. An ambulance was waiting for Tariq on the shore and he was immediately taken. We have passive. Immediately taken to the hospital at Sharm el-Sheikh. It was the most frightening day of my life. Tariq told reporters from his hospital bed that shark wanted to have me for breakfast, but dolphin saved me, thank God. Okay, 21. What was waiting for Tariq on the shore? An ambulance were waiting for Tariq on the shore. 22. Where was Tariq taken? Why? To the hospital, Sharm el-Sheikh hospital, to get medical attention. And what did Tariq tell reporters from the hospital bed? We have now the activity book. They are very, can say, easy questions actually. Number 1, Zaytarak was on holiday. B. 2, when he was attacked by the shark. C. Was lying on a plastic mattress. Tariq. A. Number 3, was bitten by the shark. Passive. 6 dolphins protected or saved Tariq. Number 5, Tariq was rescued by sea. When he got back to dry land, he was taken to get medical attention. Another is to write a question for the answers, but we are going to ask this question We're going to answer them. Number one, where was Zaytarak staying? Or where was Zayd on holiday? Or where did these events take place? All these three questions, actually, they have the same meaning. In Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. What was Zayd doing when he saw the shark? Sorry, he was swimming when he saw it. What did the shark do, or what happened? The shark bit his arm. Why did he scream? Why did he start praying? Because he thought that he was about to die, okay, or he was dying. Who protected Tariq? Who frightened the shark away? Dolphins. Who heard Tariq scream? Who rescued him by boat? The Coast Guard, Jamil Alawi, did. Last question. What was waiting on the shore? Actually, an ambulance. You see that, close your book and retell the story. One last thing I'm going to do today is retell the story. How are you going to retell the story? We have actually many techniques when we want to retell the story. One of these techniques is to depend on the actions, okay, and the actions of the story, or to depend on the characters. So if I'm going to ask a very simple question, could you tell me what are the characters in this story? Of course, you're going to answer. We have the first one, Zaytarak. The second question, what do you know about Zaytarak? Oh, I know a lot of things. I know his age. I know why did he go to Egypt. I know the main action that happened, or the accident that happened to him while he was floating peacefully. Okay, so the information about Zayd. So we can say, if we want to talk again, we're going to mention the shark. The shark, okay. What do you know about the shark? I know the shark did one thing, that bit Zayd's earbit. So we can, after that, talk about some dolphins, okay. We're going to talk about some dolphins. What did the dolphins actually do in this story? They swam up, frightened the shark away, and they made a circle around Zayd. After that, we're going to talk about the Coast Guard, Jamil Alawi. What did Jamil Alawi did? Actually, he is the person who heard Zayd's screams and rescued him by boat. Also, he gave Zaytarak the first aid. And we have another one who is Ahmed al-Masri. Actually, Ahmed al-Masri, he did just one thing, that's called the emergency services. And finally, I'm going to talk about the hospital, okay, where was Zaytarak taken. I'm going to retell the story in last minute. This story is about a guy, Zaytarak, okay, Zaytarak, who is 20 years old. He is a tourist from Iraq. He went to Egypt to spend holiday in Sharm el-Sheikh. So while he was floating peacefully, he didn't know that something pushed him hard and then harder till he find himself that in water. But actually it wasn't peace. He thought it was a piece of food, but actually it wasn't. It was the shark. It was a shark. The shark actually bit Zayd's earbit. You know, after that, Zaytarak tried to get rid of, okay, to escape from the shark after the shark bit his arm. So of course he's going, he started losing a lot of blood, so he screamed. Now I'm going to talk about dolphins. You know, the main, points, or the main, we can say, action that the dolphins did actually in this story, just they made a circle and they protected him. Now let's talk about Jamil Alawi. Jamil Alawi, actually, he heard Zayd's Tariq scream, rescued him by boat, and he gave him first aid. And one thing that Ahmed al-Masri did in this story, that he called emergency services. So finally he was taken to the hospital by ambulance to get medical attention at the hospital in Sharm el-Sheikh, not Iraq, Sharm el-Sheikh, okay? So the story is, I'm going to give me just one last minute, okay? The story is about Zaytarak, 20 years old. He is a tourist from Iraq, went to Egypt to spend a holiday. While he was floating peacefully, he thought something pushed him, and this thing was a shark who, we can say, bite him. So he started losing a lot of blood. So he screamed, but before that, some dolphins came and made a circle around him to protect him from the shark. Then Jamil Alawi, who works as Coast Guard, heard Zayd's scream, rescued him by boat, and gave him first aid. while he was doing these things, his partner Ahmed Al-Masri called the emergency services. Finally, he was taken to the hospital Sharm el-Sheikh to get medical attention. Okay, this is, the last thing about this lesson. Okay, so try to write down, try to read, try to listen many times. Okay, okay, this is everything about. Good luck.